jumping around. Welcome, welcome, welcome to your sometimes daily cup of sugar with Stacia. Because life, you know what? We don't have time for all the taglines. I'm just going to tell you that you are balanced precariously on the breadboard, on the counter. This is not a professional setup, is what I'm saying. And until moments ago, you were all, I love this, your screen was all being held at the perfect angle by baby Jesus. We'll talk about that later. Right now, I'm afraid it's going to fall down, and we're going to talk about mess. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so I'm scooching back. It's Friday, which means it's orchid watering day. Just one of my favorite. There's a cat jumping around. So we're going to talk about mess. Case in point, I hope you can see it. Probably can. I'm going to move this cardboard that I put on top of this mess in my pajamas and went to drive the kids to school, and then came back and then drove to pick one of them up because they were sick, thinking I was going to make this video and also clean up this mess. So, cats and potting soil. That's always a mess. Does anyone else have that? Anyone? What's interesting about this is an olive tree that I found at the grocery store that's like 2 miles away from my house. It was like $14 maybe. And I bought it, and it lived outside, and then I thought, well, why can't I just bring that olive tree inside? So I researched it lightly, and I'm going to say all research needs to be lightly because people will just tell you you can't do that. Well, you can. So I got the appropriate soil because you have to have the correct drainage. So the same type of soil that you would think about where olives are grown. What's their native soil, so to speak? Think about that for yourself too. Like I have to recreate conditions that this olive tree will find favorable and familiar so that it can thrive, hopefully. Anyway, so get the same kind of soil that you would for if you're going to plant aloe, so the cactus. I think it's the cactus blend. You could simply buy it. You don't need to make it yourself, but you can, and I will tell you about that a different time. So I got this olive tree, and I'm noticing I'm very distracted because the green of this twist dye that they've put on there is not a natural green. It's kind of like, why do they make pistachio ice cream green? They're not green. Anyway, I can deal with that later because I have an entire drawer full of things that we could fix it with. But we have more pressing issues, which is generally the way of it. We have another case of me waking up at 5:20 and moseying into this kitchen, and someone has been digging. And I have some ideas about who it might be, but with 7 cats, it's really hard to know for sure. Probably all of them, judging from the size of the mess. So there are ways around, there's no way around the mess happening because they're cats, and that's what they do. They dig. Okay, you can keep, as I do, this is a magnetized, I think it's for napkins, but I put a little tiny, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a valet from, like Gosford Park or Downton Abbey, but it's the same idea. It's the little tiny brush and dustpan. So I have put that inside this, and because it has magnets on it, it would stick to the fridge if this fridge was magnetized. Now, I'm going to stick right here, actually. Sorry, that's the Jello mold. That's the sand mold of Machu Picchu. But we have metal radiators, so I park it there on top, and then I can just pull it out when I need it. It's way more than you needed to know. I'm not sure where it came from. Probably from Target or some other store. Definitely pleasant to have in all the rooms. Okay, so we can try to clean it up with this. All this, is there anything worse? Well, there probably are lots of things worse, actually, than tracking around soil all over the house. There are a lot of worse things. Let's not spend any time contemplating them. We know they're there. That's enough. What we're talking about is, okay, well, what could we really do about this? Because I keep cleaning it up and then I put cardboard over it. So I think the most logical answer is to use one of the many rolls of burlap that I have around. Some of them are I have all kinds of printed burlap, but regular burlap is also, it's perfectly fine. So take that. I've tried other things. Let's just see. I don't know if it's gonna work. It might work, it might not work. And, if we can get out of having to, I don't know if that's gonna work. If we can get out of having to cut it, that'd be great. Because burlap, it just floats. And so, but I am gonna show you. Because I don't know if I need this for something else. Okay. So I'm gonna take this burlap, which is wonderful. And the whole idea is, oh, look. We're playing it close to the veil today. We're not playing it close to the vest. We're playing it close to the veil. So it's transparent, and that means air can get through. And also, by the way, water can go in there. Now you're probably thinking, oh, come on, Stacia, that's gonna work. It might not work. I haven't tried it. How will I know? Then I'm thinking like, well, how am I gonna affix this? I have, as you know, I have a cabinet full of affixing things, like tapes and glues and wire and things like that. And I also don't have time because I have to go to an eye appointment to learn how to use my progressive multifocals. Because apparently I'm doing it wrong. So then I thought, well, I just need something kind of quick. Now what would be great would be some of those pins. Do you know, like gardening pins? They look, what do they look like, really? Really tall balance beam that's small and made of metal. And they're staples. That's really staples. You put them in, and you can use them outside. Now, here's the thing about garden staples. You will I know, I have about 5,000 of them. You will either find yourself with 5,000 of them or 0 of them when you need them. So then what do? Well, I can't sew this with dental floss, which is my preferred mode of fixing almost everything. But I found these birthday candles. They're gold. They were for my husband's 50th birthday. And they say, happy birthday. Right? And they're on like a pick. Like a long, you see where I'm going with this? So I think it's cute. Instead of writing birthday, because I feel like every day is my birthday this year. So what if we just do, oh, that's sharp. What if we do happy day? We can do happy day. It does not seem to be. Well, this might be one of those kind of works things. So, and please do not light the candles on fire. Do I need to say that? I might light them on fire or need to say it. Just depends on the mood you're in. You might need to try that. So now it just says Hap, which is one of the best characters in one of the best movies ever. Hap, played by Audrey Hepburn in the movie Always with Richard Dreyfuss. And John Goodman, highly recommend that you check that out. And what does Hap say of time? Time is funny stuff. It is, indeed. Okay, so now we're left with this other mess, and this will take 2 seconds for them to take apart. I might use a large rubber band, or I'll figure something else out. But it looks pretty. But it's not going to be useful if it looks good but doesn't work, because that is a category of tools known as pretty useless. It's pretty, but it doesn't really work. So we're after what's pretty and useful. The pretty useful. It's aesthetically pleasing, and at the same time we can actually use it, okay? And we're using what's at hand here. So I might have some like little railroad ties or something to put in there, but I would have to check and see if any metal that you put in there, what is going to be the effect with the plant. I have to look that up, and I don't have time to do that right now. So this is what I want to offer to you. This is not, oh my gosh, am I creaky? Fish oil. The mess just changes forms. just changes forms. That's what it does. Cats dig. That's what they do. So we can't get up and say, as I did this morning, couldn't you just not have done that? One, it's already done. And two, this is what they're doing exactly what they're designed to do, which is, I mean, if I were a cat, I'd be like, what is that? I want to, right? So we can't really be upset with others. Well, we can do it all we want to, but it's kind of beautiful, which is, think about perhaps today, how many times you look at another person and just wish they wouldn't be them. Just wish you wouldn't be doing that thing you do. Also a good film. So, well, this is kind of a downer. It's not supposed to be a downer. It's liberating when you realize, for one thing, like, I'll fix this. I'll solve this. I'll clean this up. And there'll be a new mess someplace else. And if this burlap thing works out, it'll be great for a while. And then, it does fall apart eventually. So, I would encourage you to just sit in the mess. First place I ever meditated was the kitchen floor. That was my idea. Well, I'll just be in it. That was way too sophisticated for when I started meditating, but it taught me a lot of things because you see a lot when you're down here. There are 4 things. I really believe this. There are 4 things over and over that I am shown about messes. 1, life is a mess. It's a mess. It's just the state of things. It's a mess. Any life, anybody's life, any time, any place, any parallel universe. Life is a mess. 2, we really try to find ways to get out of that being the truth. And so we suffer because we don't want the mess. We want to fix it or change it, right? Okay? We wish it weren't a mess. 3 is, what is 3? It is actually possible to rest in the mess. To find this place that's, I'm in the mess, I'm not of the mess, and neither are you. That's 3. And 4 is, you don't need to believe me. You don't need to believe anything. For yourself, you might find, as I have, that darn it, the cure for the mess is in the mess itself. And that's why they keep showing up, I think, so we can learn how to navigate and understand that we are in the mess, we're all in the mess, and we're not of this mess. This is a morally neutral mess. It's not my fault. It helps me be less angry at things and enjoy it. So blessings to all of you. I know this went on for longer than I thought, but I did want to share these possibilities with you and also spend some time with you here in the mess so you can see that this is what it is. This is exactly what it is. I'm still in my pajamas, mostly, arguably. One of my children is sick today. This mess has been there. I've known about this mess almost for 5 hours. Couldn't I have done something about it? Shouldn't I have? That wasn't what was needed. What was needed was getting everybody out the door safely with something to eat and all of their parts intact and getting to school safely and paying attention when I was driving in that carpool line. So it's a mess. It was a mess. The carpool is always a mess. The mess is always a mess. Isn't that beautiful? We don't have to sugarcoat that. It is a mess. And it's also completely all right. Just remember, that's whatever it is. It's not It's just doing its thing. It's dirt doing its thing. It's gravity. It's cats digging. It's not personal. It's probably just gravity. It's some natural force, which all of this is. So, blessings. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't talk to you, oh, I see this little scamp. And I will see you soon. Share your cups of sugar. Take the cup of sugar. Don't borrow it. Use it up. Blessings. And someday I'm going to figure out